It's no secret that the NBA obviously has evolved since the game really got popular in the 80s, even. Obviously, before that, the game evolves over time. And I think something that we see a lot nowadays is that the NBA is positionless. And I don't think that's completely true. I will say that traditionally there were five positions, and I think now there's three. There is more of a skill set based kind of situation as opposed to a height based thing where your two guard had to be like 6'5" or above, and then your one guard had to be like over 6 feet, and then 6'7" for your small forward, 6'8", 6'9" power forward, 6'10" something center, right? Like that was traditionally how that works. And I think now really the shooting guard and the power forward are eliminated realistically based on people's skill sets. Not that people aren't shooting guards and people aren't power forwards, but like Jason Tatum plays the power forward position, and he is not a traditional power forward. The power forward is really just like the second small forward, and that's why I think there's really just three positions: guards, wings, and bigs. And I think that realistically, yeah, you can put two guards, two wings, and a big. You can put a guard, two wings, and two bigs. You can put two guards, a wing, and two bigs. You can do whatever you want, but those are the three positions. Like guards, obviously, guys like Luca, Cade Cunningham, are considered guards, even though they have the size to be wings. The playmaking, ball handling skill set puts them in guards. Wings are guys that really stay on the perimeter, and you're 3-and-D guys, but you also have guys like Tatum and Paul George, who I would consider wings. Kawhi Leonard, guys that can handle the ball, dribble it. They can play make a little bit. Obviously, LeBron is the kind of prototypical wing playmaker. LeBron is obviously today's version of what Scottie Pippen used to do. Obviously, LeBron is a way better player, but like that's the archetype, right, of the playmaking wing. But LeBron is still a wing, and then you go to like the big, and I think bigs is really just the play style of around the basket. Yeah, you can space out, get the occasional three. Realistically, you're just getting catch and shoot looks, and the big is really, you want that rim protection, you want that rebounding. Yeah, passing and shooting are cool, but like those are the skill sets that you need. So when you talk about positionless basketball, I really don't feel like it's completely positionless, right? Like you couldn't just go out there with five guards and beat a normal traditional team. Like the game, I don't know how much more it evolves past that until the league is entirely composed of unicorn players like Porzingis and Wembenyama. I still think you need those quicker, shiftier guards. Yeah, those guys are like still going to be 6'5". Like the NBA is going to get taller on average, probably, but you're still not going to have like 6'1" guys completely eliminated from the game just because of that quickness. That's something that helps set up the offense. There's still guys that are going to cut. Yes, height is cool, but not guys exclusive. Like you're not going to see Victor Wembanyama more than once in the next 20 years, you know? And for all those people who are saying that, like, Bol would be as good as Wembenyama if he got the minutes and the shot attempts, like, Wembenyama's not even getting enough shot attempts and minutes for him to, like, thrive as the player we know he's going to be. So get out of here with that. I think it is cool when you see guys like Ben Simmons or, guys like Wembenyama come in and revolutionize the position. Like Steph Curry obviously changed the game, and really Steph Curry had a team built around him that supported his play style. And he wasn't the kind of guy that played with a traditional power forward, because you know you can't have two bigs, right? And that's really what it was, is that people said, all right, well, the power forward is just a smaller big, but they still play like a big. There's still double big lineups. And you had Al Horford and Rob Williams play together with the Celtics last couple of years. There's plenty of two big lineups. Like Jaren Jackson is a big, right? Like he plays center. John Collins is a big. Those are still like your traditional power forwards, but the difference is now those guys get moved down to center. I don't know that you would see a guy like Paul Millsap ever play center when he played. But I think if he played in today's era, honestly, what's stopping him? Obviously, you can't really predict what's going to happen in the NBA or really just how evolution works in life. Like a lot of people overestimate and underestimate changes that are going to happen, but I really just don't see the NBA evolving this drastically anymore. I think that realistically, the way that the game is going to be played, it's probably going to be like this. Like, yeah, there's going to be your unicorn players. Like, you're going to have 6, 10 point guards more frequently. It's not going to be like this generational guy, right? Like, Ben Simmons might be more of a dime a dozen in 30 years than he was in his draft back in holy crap like 2016. But you know, this isn't some crazy position change. Like what's coming next? Yeah, probably the shooting guard because you're either going to have wings or point guards. So a guy like Cam Thomas, who doesn't really facilitate and he's scoring mostly, like you already see that type of guy struggling to get consistency if you only do one thing. And I think just positional versatility is kind of the point that you can play a guy as like a third guard out there. Like that's what Luka could do. Like theoretically, Luka could play that small forward spot. I don't know if he would want to guard small forwards, but that could be there's a world where that happens. So I think really just to get it concise, I think that you're still always going to have the guard wing big kind of lineup unless you really get to a point where wings just make bigs completely obsolete. But I still think there's always going to be those three types of archetypes, and I think that they do the three things that you really need on the basketball court, right? Like I said, the guards are the guys that can move the ball, they initiate the offense, obviously they score, and that's the guard. And you want defense at all three positions or three types of positions. But I think that the wing is where you really need the defense because most players that are really good in the NBA that get the championships are wings. So you need that type of defensive presence. Obviously, if they have scoring, that's a benefit, but you're looking for those defensive wings who can guard on the perimeter, can play a little interior, but they're not going to be your rim protector, right? And yeah, they can shoot, they can score, they can, not necessarily need to create offense the way the guard does, but they can, create something. That's your wing. And then your big, again, the shot creation is not necessary. I think there's going to be a lot of evolution in terms of like bigs like being able to pass. Like you already see it with Sabonis and Sengun and Jokic. I think that could be more common in the future. I don't see a world where rim protection and rebounding ever goes away from the game of basketball. I just don't see a world where bigs get fully eliminated, and I don't see a world where wings get eliminated. Maybe wings start to have the guard skill set and they kind of blend into some other word that's like both of them, and it's just four super skilled tall people that can defend and pass and shoot, and then one like really big guy. But you're never going to eliminate the big guy. There's always going to be a need for the big guy. So I think that really that's as far as I see basketball evolving. Past that, no matter how many good players there are, I just don't see anything evolving past one big and then a whole bunch of fast, athletic, skilled players. Even no matter how consolidated the talent in the NBA gets, I think the way that basketball is right now is probably at its most enjoyable because you can still see guys and they're still like humans. Like, yeah, you look at a guy like Wembanyama, but he stands out, right? Like you look at him and you're like, even they think as NBA players that he stands out, right? But when you have a whole bunch of guys like Ben Simmons's and LeBron's and Porzingis's, and that's like basically it, and you basically just play the guys who can't shoot at the bigger positions. I really I really think that basketball is going to become a lot less diverse, and I really feel like right now in the NBA the talent like level is probably at its peak.